Destroying the anti-Social Security bigots. For some reason, there are many amongst us, mostly on the libertarian right, which I don't get, but we'll go into this and we're just going to, basically tear them a new butthole. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's crazy for me. Your old buddy Josh, somewhat of an anarchist, libertarian, conservative, that I gotta be the defender of Social Security. But the facts are, dude, Social Security needs defense because it's a good program. It's not a great program. It's a good program, and many of us can rely on it, as rightly we should, because it's there to do what it's supposed to do: keep us out of poverty. It's not to make us rich, to keep us out of poverty. All right. Don't forget to subscribe to my locals down in the doobly-doo. All right, that's 4 p.m. every Friday. We go live, and once I get enough active paid subscribers, we'll go live more and for longer than what we do right now. That's $5 a month, dude. $5 a month. You can contribute. You can add stuff to it. You follow Viva Barnes. It's a great topic conversation. It's all kinds of stuff is happening on that on the locals channel. I love it. And then, of course, subscribe to my newsletter as well. All right. So we're going to start here. Again, this is from Veronique Desrougy, and her silliness on this article that just drives me crazy. And then they post on Reason Magazine on their community tab. The Supreme Court ruled in 1960 that workers do not have a legally binding right to Social Security. And if Congress cuts benefits even by, say, 50%, it can do so no matter what anyone was paid to the program. Oh, the Supreme Court said because they're God Almighty. I think the Supreme Court said it was okay to own human beings too, or that some human beings could be counted as 3/5 of a vote. Just to throw it out there. Anyway, so we got some silly people in here in the comments. Let's see here. I want to show HVAC Soldier says basically we'll probably get 75% of promised benefits. That's why there has been a push by some in Congress to make 401ks mandatory. And I agree with that. I think that's one of the, I don't agree with this first sentence, but I think the second part is we got to get people off the pension and more to take charge of their own finances. But I'm telling you, these people are making a huge mistake as if a 401k is separate from Social Security. It's an idiotic mistake to make, and people do it all the time. And again, this guy, HVAC Soldier, who I would thought be smarter than what he's saying here. You're a soldier in the Army and you're HVAC, so you know how to put things together. You're not stupid, but yet he does make a stupid claim. People can't really live on Social Security. Look, dude, get the freaking book right here. I debunked it. It's my book. It's only 115 pages of just pure gravy that I dispute all this. It's nuts. All right. And this guy says, I'm 34, hope we get rid of the stupid security and just let people educate people on financial well-being. More money to invest instead of it going to the irresponsible people in the government, because the corporations are pretty responsible. All right. Let's see. Social Security does not get adjusted for inflation. That's a flat-out lie. This is what this guy says. That's idiotic to say that. And then this guy says, I have friends on Social Security. Their checks have been increasing every year with inflation. And so anyway, I jumped in here. This guy says, it's a lie. It doesn't get adjusted. And whatever, I don't care because that's idiotic. All right, so I jump in here and said, you sure about that? About you can't retire on Social Security? Read my book. You can. And then because libertarian had been trained to hate Social Security, many of those people, of course, love NASA. It's the funniest thing in the world. This guy, J.A. Samurai, saying Social Security is not adjusted for inflation. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Holly up here says, so I read someplace that Social Security was going to go broke by 2040 or something. And I said to her, Holly, have a holly jolly Christmas, because the late 1990s, U.S. was slated to go broke by 2028. Now it's 2035. Did they raise the payroll tax? Nope. Did they increase full retirement age? Nope. The interest rates are way lower than what they were back in the 90s too. Yep. Weird, just weird. And yet you'll believe whatever they tell you. And then this guy says to me, Social Security is terrible. At least he agrees NASA is. If they let me opt out of Social Security, I'd be fine with it. But it's nothing but wealth redistribution. Nothing but wealth redistribution. Even if it was retirement savings, the return is far worse than if I just invested on my own. The return is far worse than if you just invested it. Hey, you want to back that up? He goes, yeah, I've been averaging 8 to 12% of my money for 10 years in the market. If you're not in the market, you're financially illiterate. I'm just like, dude. In fact, there's no 5-year span in the history of the stock market where it didn't grow, with the exception of the Great Depression. Well, there is a span there, but okay, whatever. I'm not going to debate this 5-year span because he's missing the fundamental key. That you can't see the error in your mind is your ways is mind-boggling. Why would you compare accumulation over the last 10 years versus taking distribution? Social Security not once said we'll give you accumulated wealth. They said you'll have a minimum income to escape poverty. But given you're obviously young and don't realize what a bear market does to retirement accounts when one is taking distributions, I'll cut you some slack, because only a young guy would say, I've been averaging 8 to 12% a year on my money for the last 10 years. Only a young guy would say that, because that's ignorant means they don't know. And I think the young guy isn't stupid. He's just ignorant. He thinks, I've been averaging this because he doesn't know what it is. All right. The condensation is insanely obnoxious. Please stop. Because I'm telling you, dude, you're young. You don't know what we know. This old gray bears we know. If Social Security isn't about accumulating wealth, it is welfare. It's just such an idiotic thing. Which the left has been insisting is not true for years. The left. So if it's about retirement, then let me opt out and put my money somewhere better. All right. And then he says, you don't pay. So what I said down here, I said up here, where did I say? Right here. Wait till the market is down 57%, all the while you're taking distributions and having to pay tax on it. And then he says, you don't pay tax on Roth distributions, and half anyway, earlier than Social Security, by the way. I don't know what you're talking about, taxes. And it says you don't pay tax on Roth distributions and a half. I don't know what that says. My future value is being extracted for others' benefit against my will. I'll consider that a win. All right, anyways, it's freaking out. And he goes, I see your channel now. You're a Dave Ramsey kind of guy. Yeah, no thanks. You're embarrassing me. All right, so anyway, let's keep going here. And again, the idea of Social Security isn't just for inflation. So then, hold on a second. Guy came in here and says, where'd he go? He said something about OER. Oh, man. And I was like, what happened to him? Oh, that sucks, dude. He must have deleted his comment. I said, man, you're familiar with OER. Respect. Hopefully you didn't learn about it from Shadow Stats. Either way, my soon-to-be-released book, Relax and Retire, Debunking Inflation Fears, is a must-read for you. I'll destroy your inflation concerns later. All right, so again, we're going to go back to the beginning of this idiotic article. And Veronique, in 1930, there were more than 16 workers for every beneficiary. In 2035, that ratio will be only 2.3. That's correct, Veronique, but obviously you didn't read my book because I'm just a guy in my T-shirt with my dogs. And my chapter 13, What Savings Crisis, you can read. We talk about, the payroll tax of Social Security. All right, so right here, tax rates as a percent of taxable earnings. From 1937, it was 1%. In 1959, it was 2.5%. Now it's 6.2%. There was no HI back then until 1965. HI is hospital insurance. That's your Part A for Medicare. All right. So it's just this idiotic. Part 2 of that, she says this idiotic thing too, and it really makes me mad. I'm not going to lie to you. Life expectancies were lower when Social Security was started. How dare you, Josh? You don't know that life expectancies were lower? And I have hold on a second. And in 2020, the life expectancy tables, all right, so our life expectancy as an infant was 76 for a man, 81 for a woman, basically 78 years old. And that's what Veronique is going to go with. In the 1930s, when Social Security was started, the life expectancy was 60, Josh, 60. That's at birth. That's at birth, Finnegan. The life expectancy at birth has gone from 60 to basically 78. Now it's back down to 76 because of things of cleanliness and washing your hands. It's amazing, actually, and having actually more food to consume. Now it's going the other way because we rely too much on science. Anyway, the life expectancy for a 65-year-old back then, Veronique, was 77. 77. What's the life expectancy for a 65-year-old today? About 81. This is almost 100 years ago. The life expectancies haven't gone up that much. And yet, what is Social Security? Your full retirement age has actually gone up as well. So the life expectancies have gone up about 4 or 5 years for a 65-year-old. Your full retirement age has gone up for 2 of those years. Your full retirement age is now 67. So we got less people paying in, but we got more taxes to pay and a much higher wage base of taxes in which to pay as well. Toupee. Hey, I just said that. Toupee. I don't have a toupee. So we have more people. We have less people supporting Social Security, but the less people are paying a hell of a lot more taxes, and they have a hell of a lot more income relative to what they did back then, in which to pay the taxes to support Social Security. It's just as idiotic. And the full retirement age is now 67, as opposed to back then it was 65. Whatever it was, I don't know. Off the top of my head. We could look it up easy, but I'm not going to. All right, so the life expectancies are not freaking higher, that much higher than they were back then. All right, so I just want to do something else here too. All right, so I just said, let me create a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets. All right, so don't forget to subscribe, by the way, if I haven't said that already. Share this video so you can debunk all the fools. Like, I can't retire on Social Security alone. Oh, my goodness. All right, so I use that other guy's example. I use the S&P 500. I took their rates of return every single year going back to when I started my taxable Social Security. This is literally your old buddy Josh's taxable Social Security wages right here. 1984 is 14. In 1989, my first full year in the Army, I made $7,800. All right, as a 11 Bravo E1 or E2 infantryman. Wow, $7,800. Woo, netting. All right, so they held $447 of Social Security tax. The tax rate back then was 5.7. The tax rate up here was 5.7. The tax rate right here was 6.06. Right, where was it? 6.06. Right. One of these years was 6.06. Where'd it go? Hold on a second. Oh wait, this is the taxes withheld. There you go. Hold on a second. My spreadsheet. So I gotta go back to my table from my own book actually and look at it. I said, okay, from 1989 forward, the Social Security tax was 6.2%. There we go, 6.2, and we'll make that copy and paste. We'll just do this whole thing down here. Boink. All right, you're watching exactly what I do. All right. There we go. And in 1988, it was 6.06. If my memory on my book is correct. 1 second. And 1988 and 89, it was 6.06. 88, yep. There we go. 6.06. And in 89, it was as well. 6.06 and in 89, it was as well. All right. There we go. 6.06. It was 5.7 previous to that. There we go. All right, sweet. All right, so basically what's happening is in 1989, I made $7,800. I was withheld 6.06 for FICA taxes, Social Security taxes, and we're just talking about Social Security. We're not talking about homeowners insurance, HI, hospital insurance. All right. Now in 1993, when I was my first full year of being out of the Army, I made $6,800. They withheld 6.2%, so they had $423 of withheld taxes. All right. Over the course of my working career, I've had $127,000 of taxes withheld. Now, my employer has withheld about $109,000 of that, but just to keep it simple, I'm going to make this what we're going to double that. Just to keep it simple, all right? So just remember, so over the course of my working career, between me and my employer, we basically had $254,000 of taxes we paid into Social Security, $255,000. All right, so what we're doing now is we're saying in 1984, I had basically $9 of taxes withheld. All right, the rate of return on that year in the S&P 500 was 6%. But essentially, I'm saying I didn't make anything. You can't just say the rate of return is 6% to cover the entirety of your taxes withheld. And for the simple reason is that you weren't having your taxes withheld all in January 1st. So I'm assuming that we made no money in that first year. So the very first year of the 1984, I had basically $9 of taxes withheld. And I say, if I could have invested them, what would have happened? So we gather up our taxes paid at the end of the year, which is basically $9. All right. We times that by so let me show you what I'm talking about. All right. So we're going to come down here. We're going to say we're going to take this is what we had at the end of the year, $9 of taxes withheld, all right? We're going to times that by the 6% rate of return. Again, we did not actually have a 6% rate of return on that money, but just because you have to pay in increments, you don't pay in one fell swoop, but just to make it simple. Don't get too anal about this stuff. All right. So here, in the 1985, we're taking the amount of money we had taxes withheld, we're timesing it by the rate of return we had, all right? And that gave us a $9.43 is what we ended that year with. All right, so now what's happening here, we're doing the same thing. In 1985, we had a 32% rate of return. So that $9 of taxes withheld, if I had it on my own at the end of 1986, it'd be worth $12.46. Now, I haven't added anything to the system because in these 2 years I didn't make any taxable wages. I was getting paid under the table. Shh. But you see what I'm saying now. So we have $9. We made 6% income interest. So the next year is worth $9.43. That $9.43 made 32% S&P 500 return. That means it's worth $12.46. All right. Now, in 1987, I was back at working again, and so I had another $52 of taxes withheld. So in this case, what we're doing is we're saying, okay, we're going to take the amount of money we started the previous year with, we're going to times it by that rate of return, in that case is 19%, and then we're going to add to the amount of taxes I had withheld the following year. So at the end of 1987, I had, of all the taxes withheld, I had $52 of taxes withheld plus another $9. $61 of taxes withheld. I've actually made $5 on my money if I did not have to invest it in Social Security. If I took the equivalent of the taxes withheld and invested on my own in the S&P 500. I hope that makes sense. And we're just going to keep doing that. Now, you'll notice I didn't make hardly anything until right here, 2008. All right. You can see 2007, that's when I just got obliterated. It was horrible. Now you can see the S&P 500 was down 37% that year. The S&P 500 was down 9, 11, and 22% these years and whatnot. But I'm still having money being put into the market because I'm still having taxes withheld. Unfortunately, that money being put into the market isn't enough to recoup the massive amount of losses I had. So when we start in the year 2000, we start the year in 2000 at $33,000 I could have accumulated if I had been able to invest the money on my own. At the end of 2003, though, I'm down to $27,000, even though I still have taxes withheld, if that makes sense. So basically saying, oh, would I have done better? Well, I don't know, because I have lost money those years. Anyway, so we come all the way down, and we're going to say 460 by the end of 2021. If I could have invested my money in the S&P 500, my own taxes in the S&P 500, I'd have $464,000 at the end of 2021. And that's 38 years if memory serves, 38 years. So I have $464,000. Now, the assumption that many gullible people think, well, your payroll paid it too. Your employer had to pay the tax too. And if they didn't have to pay the tax, they would have given it to you as a lump sum, or they're giving it as a higher income. I don't buy that for 2 seconds, but let's just say they did. Let's say they did. Let's say they said, Josh, we think you're great. We're going to give you the payroll tax that we did not pay you. So we're going to give you $464,000 on top of the $464,000 you saved on your own. So we're going to take this and we're going to times it by 2. And you're going to say you have $928,000 after 30 years of hard labor and no Social Security. You have $928,000 to your name. All right. That's great. So now what we're going to do is say, what kind of annuity would that buy me? Here's the, you can see right here, what I paid into Social Security, what employers pay in. I don't know why the discrepancy there. I made payroll tax. I don't know. But anyway, what I paid into Social Security, what they paid, what I paid into Medicare, what they paid, just as an FYI. And you can look at, just go look at your own statement. It's crazy. So between me and my employer, we basically paid $250,000 into the system. Now I'm showing in this case that we paid $255 into the system. It's roughly the same thing. All right, let's keep going. Took the monthly annuity, the amount of money that I had in a retirement account that I did not pay into Social Security, and I said, what would be my equivalent annuity if I took that $928,000 of taxes that I did not have to pay to Uncle Sam, and I invested it? I said I would be able to get an annuity that would be $4,800 a month, each and every month for Charlotte in my lifetime. All right, that covers her, she and I. All right, so I get, we'll just say $5,000. That's not quite. So we take 48, so we're going to figure out something. 4862 times 12. This is with USA, by the way, a very highly rated insurance company. Could you get more of some other insurance companies? Sure, imagine a little bit, but it's not going to be that much different. So we're going to get $58,000 a year on a $928,000 one-time investment. All right, that's a distribution. 58 divided by 928. That's a 6.2% payout ratio. All right, now I'm assuming I'm 67, by the way, in this case. So I'm assuming I'm 67. So for Charlotte and me, 100% joint survivor annuity. It pays $4,800 a month for a one-time payment payout of $928,000. All right, so then I said, well, interesting. I never work again in my life. My Social Security, and this is today's dollars. We can assume I'm 67 right now. It doesn't matter. my Social Security benefit would be $28.97. $28.97. Now Charlotte's will be half that because we have a spousal benefit. So we'll say $2,900 divided by 2 is $1,450. Oops, $2,900 plus $1,450. I mean, so we would actually get a payout of $4,350 a month at 67. Again, I'm assuming 67 for both sides. You see where I'm going with this now? So Social Security is going to give me $4,350 between Charlotte and myself. USA is going to give me $4,862. Essentially on the same batch of money, $928. That's what I could have had accumulated, assuming I invested every dollar that would have gone to Social Security taxes between me and my employer and the S&P 500 over the course of those 38 years. If you think that's going to happen, you're freaking nuts, but be that as it may. All right, so basically Social Security is a raw deal. It's only giving me $4,300 a month, and my own investment would give me $4,862. It's a raw deal, Josh. Yeah, but this is flat. This doesn't have any cost of living adjustment. Social Security does have a cost of living adjustment of whatever it is, 2.4. This last year is 8.7. But Josh, I wouldn't do it in an annuity anyway. You know what I'd do instead? I'd keep investing in the S&P 500. Okay, that's fine. You can do that. I mean, again, you do not know what the hell happened in 2007. You were down 57%. And you're pulling money out at a significant clip as well. Your butt is cooked, dude. You are doomed. You do not know what you're talking about. All right, so I want to show you the last thing. We'll wrap this up. This is my Social Security benefit, assuming I never work again. I don't make any more money in the future, ever whatsoever. The $28.97. All right. So this, if I make $100,000 a year for the next 15 years, my benefit goes to $3,200. Wow. The reason, because I already have my 35 years of earnings in there. Yes, if I make $100,000, we go back to the spreadsheet here one second. That will replace some of these years, but it's not going to give you that much of a bigger benefit. It's going to give you $500 more. I mean, it's just, again, if you're in a crappy old job and you're miserable and your life's about to die, then don't keep doing it for a higher Social Security benefit. I did this on the live stream last night, man. It's the law of large numbers. Once you have a certain big amount of numbers in your Social Security statement, working a couple extra years isn't going to move the needle much at all. All right. So lastly, I said, okay, what if I did continue to work at a clip of, I go all the way to 2000. So I'm going to go back. I'm 52 now. I'm going to say I'm going to do this till I'm 67. I'm going to use the exact same rates of return of basically what I'm doing is I'm using a 3% adjustment for Social Security max wage base. So I'm saying my max wage base were 142, 147, 151. And then I'm going to say my rates of return are just a flat 5% of the S&P 500. That's it. All right, so now I got 1.49 million in there. All right, that's between my employer, but just me, and my employer will have twice that. So out of my employer, we'll have $3 million. Yeah, that's $3 million we could have lived on, Josh. Yeah. Yep. And guess what? Social Security had 2.4% COLA for 15 years would pay $4,600 a month. Add my spousal benefit, that's another $2,300 a month. Yeah, that's $6,900 a month in Social Security. $6,900 a month in Social Security I get in 2037. Because everyone, what they do, idiots, and it bothers me because people don't take 2 seconds to think, what if I'm missing something? That's my future benefit at 67. Look, it says at 67 in 2037, I'm only going to get $3,200 a month. That's highway robbery. If I would have saved it, invested on my own, I would get... I'd have, look at all that, I'd have $3 million between my employer and me. Yeah, that's freaking good. Social Security, I hate you. What they don't recognize is that what you see right here, this isn't today's numbers. Your projections are in future numbers, inflated. You can't compare inflated versus today, unless you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You have to look at inflated on both sides. So let's go back to the spreadsheet here. All right, so now we got $3 million, and I'm saying between Charlotte and I, with only a 2.4% COLA on Social Security, of course, no down markets, by the way, in the stock market. If you could have taken your taxes and invested it, we get $7,900. We get $6,900 a month times 12. That's $82,000 a year divided by basically what's that? 2.9 million. That's still a 3. I mean, look, it's still a 3% payout distribution. I mean, So you could go to USA and say, yeah, I'm going to get a higher payout distribution, but it has no cost of living adjustment, has no spousal benefit adjustment. It might have a 100% survivor benefit, but there's no COLA in there. Yeah, it's a higher payout on the front end, but it's a lower when you factor in the longevity you may or may not have. And if you're going to say, well, I rely on the stock market because 8 to 12% I've got in the last 10 years, okay, that's fine. I can't convince you otherwise. I'm not even going to attempt. That's silly to me. Just think about it, dudes. Let me just go back for a second. $1 million. We're going to take out $50,000, all right? Because that's what we're saying. Because you know me. I say you can live off, take a 5% distribution. So we go here, boink, boink, boink. All right, so now we're left with $950,000. Now we go to this guy times 0.62. Now we're down to $590,000. Take $50,000 out. I'm not even adjusted for inflation. And now we're down to 540. Equals that. And we're just going to do this again. We're going to keep doing this until the cows come home. Oops. Equals that right there. And stop. Why is it? Equals that. Enter. There we go. All right. And so let's just do this. Boink. And we're going to do like this. Boink. And we're going to do like this. Boink. All right. There we go. And we'll go 1, 2, 3. So in year 12, we're out of money. Just because we got hit that rate of return. Now, I'm not giving you any rates of return on this. I mean, we can. It's still in year, hell, we can do it. Freaking my man, what's his name? Kohlberg's website here. Hold on a second. So now we're starting in 2000. We got $1 million. We're taking 50,000 a year out. We're adjusting with a 3% inflation. It won't matter. And you can see what happens by the time 2016 comes out. We're smack dab out of money. You know, and by the time 2008 rolls around, your $1 million you started with just 8 years previously is down to 279. Oh yeah. Don't tell me that. Oh yeah, the markets are always better. It's idiotic, dude. It's idiotic. Now let's not do any inflation. Just take. Oh my goodness. So now we're down to where are we here? By just make sure I got my numbers right. 2020. Right there, we're down to 385. We are actually at 317 at one point. Now, again, could you survive that? Sure, absolutely. You don't have to worry about Social Security. I mean, you don't have to worry about the markets. You don't have to, trust me. You got to be young to say, I've been making 8 to 12% a year the last 10 years. It's just as silly and of its face, man. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I can't believe that people don't get this. I just don't get it. Social Security is not welfare. It's not transfer payment. It's an entitlement. You pay taxes into it. You're actually getting a decent rate of return for the taxes you paid into it. It's just a fact. And to sit there and think it's going to illegal immigrants or it's going to, freaking, I mean, look, we should be funding NASA. We shouldn't be funding freaking Ukraine. We should be funding NOAA. All these, we shouldn't be funding the DOD unless they start being honest. That's just a fact. But to make your freaking flag to die on, your hill to die on Social Security is just idiotic, dude. It makes no sense. And you should be shamed because you're sitting there thinking, I just proved you, I just debunked you right there that the markets will outperform Social Security. I literally just did. Because at the end of the day, while you were getting smoked in the aughts, and then you had this huge run up the last decade. If you think that's going to continue on, you're crazy. But whatever, man. My Social Security benefit I just proved to you was paying a decent rate of return for the amount of money I put in. Guaranteed cost of living adjustment, guaranteed to be there. It's silly to think this thing is like some kind of evil scheme to separate you from your money. It's idiotic. And it's even sillier to think that the markets will rescue you. You think if Social Security goes the way of the dodo bird, the markets can be, we'll be okay. It's nuts. All right, long video. Love your thoughts. Put them in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe to the Doobly Dukes down below. See ya.